The back of the $1 bill, there are a lot of important occult symbolism on the back of the $1 bill. On the left-hand side, you'll see the pyramid, and the pyramid of Egypt. That's an Egyptian pyramid on an American dollar bill. The significance is very important. Above the pyramid, you will see the words annuit coeptus, which basically means in Latin, our enterprise is a success, or our project has been crowned with success. And the project, which is a success, is on the banner beneath the pyramid, Novus Ordo Seclorum, being Latin for New Order of the World, or the New World Order. On the bottom of the pyramid, you will see the Roman numerals for 1776. This exact identical emblem of the pyramid within the circle, the Novus Ordo Seclorum, it was not original in America. It was first found on writings that are today in museums in Europe in the year 1774, 1775 by a man named Adam Weishaupt, who founded the Bavarian Order of the Illuminati, a secret society of Freemasons operating in Europe that had designs on the entire world and to bring about what they call a new world.
Elon Musk is creepy, so he confirms that he's uploaded his consciousness to the cloud and had a conversation with himself. And we all remember when he put Neuralink in the monkey brain and had him playing Pong, but look at this. Now he's tested his first human subject with Neuralink. And I seen something about Greek gematria that I had to check out myself. So I did it. I typed Neuralink in the Greek gematria calculator, and look what I found. Look at all these. We've got the Great Beast, Muhammad, and last but not least, Titan, and the number of Antichrist. And then look at all these. All the way across the board. There's a lot of speculation that he might be involved with the Antichrist, but look at this. So if he's uploading his consciousness to the cloud and having conversations with it, does that make you kind of freaked out about what AI could possibly be? What if AI is a bunch of human test subjects and they just upload all their consciousnesses to the cloud, mix them all together, maybe erase some of their memory, and then now they are the artificial intelligence that we talk to? Weird.
A new satellite capable of spying on your every move is set to launch in 2025. The satellite, created by startup company Albedo, is so high quality it can zoom in on people or license plates from space, raising concerns among privacy experts that it will create a Big Brother is always watching scenario. Albedo claims the satellite won't have facial recognition software, but doesn't mention that it will refrain from imaging people or protecting people's privacy.
You have the right to stay private and protect your personal data. Your personal data is being sold online by data brokers right now. If you don't have the time to go through each and every website that may or may not have any information on you, then try Delete Me. Delete Me will take care of removing your data from public databases and people's search sites. To do what we did to remove our data and get your personal information removed from the internet, go to joindeleteme.com/anonymous. We value privacy as we know how our personal data can be used against us. That's why we recommend Delete Me. Delete Me is giving 20% off to anyone who uses the code ANONYMOUS. Again, that's joindeleteme.com/anonymous. It's like having your own personal privacy assistant who takes care of all the hard work for you and protects your data. Special thanks to Delete Me for sponsoring this portion of the video.
When I dug into it, I realized that the Black Knight satellite, which is object that's still orbiting our planet right now, it's on NASA's server. They call it space junk. They don't know what it is. It's been there. The STS-88 mission did a flyby and caught a great HD image of this thing. It's about estimated 15 tons.
It's in our orbit.
Oh yeah, it's in our orbit.
So it's not far out. It's not outer space.
No, it's at Lagrange point 4, I believe.
Okay.
And it's orbiting out there, and it's still there. They won't mess with it because it makes no sense to mess with it. You don't know what type of self-defense system or mechanism this thing may have. But the reason why I think it's important, based on what you were telling me about the gentleman, is because I believe that this thing is watching us. That's what the whole documentary is about. And I have 20 incredible researchers in the documentary, including quantum physicists in the documentary with me, and astrophysicists. I think it's watching us, And I believe that it's using quantum entanglement to transmit everything in real time, what's going on Earth, back to home base at Vortis. And that this could be the gravity civilization that you're talking about.
With many different resets and many different civilizations, the question is, how long has this been going on? And have we done all of this before? So, this artifact was found in South America, and he seems to be wearing the first deep sea diving equipment. This is found on a temple in India, and she looks like she's on a tablet, and she looks like she's on her phone. And the origin of this artifact is unknown, but it seems to be the first QR scanner. And this is from ancient Rome, and that looks like a laptop with a USB connection. And he looks like he's on a PC. These were found in a 1,000-year-old mummy, and they're known to be the first ever pair of Adidas trainers. And ancient Sumerians with a nuclear bomb.
I think Hollywood has two agendas. It's profit, but it's also propaganda. I think they want to influence society with these movies, and sometimes that's more important than making the money. And then sometimes the money is the most important. You know, you never know which God, is being served here, which master is being served here, so to speak, because certain things are done purely for the propaganda of it. I think movie companies, for the most part, a lot of them started and were owned by the same people who want to engineer society anyway. It's kind of just part of their portfolio. Some of these folks are so rich, Hollywood's a toy.
Elon Musk has given an update on the first patient to be implanted with that brain chip from his Neuralink startup. During a live event on X, Elon Musk said the patient is now fully recovered and able to move a mouse cursor around a screen just by thinking. A robot implanted the chip into the area of the brain, which controls movement. The first goal of the project is for people to control a cursor or keyboard with their thoughts. Elon Musk says the technology can eventually fully connect the brain to devices.
Somebody smarter than me, please tell me what the this is. I don't have a clue, and I don't want to wake up in the morning, but it just keeps coming out the ground and stopping and coming, kind of like it pulsates a little bit, but it ain't hot, it ain't cold, it ain't like steam or nothing, it ain't got no smell to it, it's just there, and it's just coming out of this one spot. I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think the sky is ripped in half. Come on, cloud, get out the way. Y'all see that line? They go all the way up. Can't see it though. There it is. The sky's turning its half. Fall out the sky.
Kanye West is an occultist because his new Vultures music video tells us he is. Never mind the past 15 years of occult symbolism he's been giving us about death and rebirth rituals, alchemy, and telling us that he belonged in the Bible or that he's literally Christ. Let's just look at his latest video. The first stage of alchemy is the black bird, seen here as a vulture. This is the step towards enlightenment in the great work of alchemy. We also see the black sun eclipse, symbolizing the dissolution of the body and getting down to the prima materia, the goal of destruction of matter. We also see the twin pillars Boaz and Yakin, the entrance to the mystical place of Solomon's Temple and Freemasonry. We also see a literal alchemist seeking the formula for the Philosopher's Stone, aka the elixir of life for immortality and man becoming God, probably explaining why the director had an Instagram post of a man drinking blood from a goat and blood sacrifices. The seven-figured hand of glory is a reference to a Yiddish symbol for doing something well, aka great work. There's a ton of Twin Peaks symbolism of hooded guardian figures, opening third eyes, Luciferian angels, portals like we saw at Travis Scott's Satanic Astroworld concert, and it ends with Kanye as the final stage of alchemy, the Blazing Phoenix.
This collection of some 93 standing rocks is thought to predate Stonehenge by around 2,000 years. So this Portuguese formation is actually much older and much more mysterious. Without technology like the wheel, moving these stones would have been near impossible for normal humans. They're so heavy that it's hard to believe that without some system involving wheels, pulleys, that these stones would have been able to be brought to standing. These standing stones are arranged in such a way as to align with the sun, the moon, the stars. On the winter solstice, the shadows that they cast actually point directly to another standing stone some 2 kilometers away.
This picture is from NASA, and it is their collection of UFO sightings within America. It's the exact same as the missing 411 and
No way.
the cave systems in America. Isn't that not wild? We talked about the Solomon Islands and stuff, and like the cave systems of like where these supposed like giants lived, and I mean just like everywhere, dude. Indian culture, Buddhist culture. They talked about civilization to escape this mass cataclysm of the flood and stuff. They literally had tunnels or cave systems that went into the earth to the hollow earth where they would emerge on another part of the planet. It's not a crazy thing to like come up with.
But like, okay, on the flippity flip, we also used to think that the earth was flat.
Hey, how do you know?
Worth bearing in mind that when we did AI Day, this version of Optimus didn't work at all. So the rate of improvement here, I think, is quite significant. It's obviously not doing parkour, but it is walking around, and we have multiple copies, I suppose, of Optimus. The thing that's I think Tesla brings to the table that others don't have is that we have the real-world AI. We're the most advanced in real-world AI.
Finally tonight here, the landing on the moon. Tonight, the first image just in. And what we just learned about the lander itself, now on its side. Gio Benitez, again tonight.
Tonight, the stunning first image being sent in from the lunar lander Odysseus, nicknamed Odie, taking this photo 6 miles above a crater near the moon's south pole. Odie touching down just minutes before we came on the air last night.
Congratulations, IM team.
Tonight, we've learned Odie hit a rock during landing, ending up on its side.
Caught a foot in the surface, and the lander has tipped like this. And we believe this is the orientation of the lander on the moon.
Incredibly, the majority of the payloads on board Odie still working, along with its communications. And that landing almost didn't happen. Just 2 hours before touchdown, Odie's laser navigation system failed.
Was not intended to be the primary landing system on this.
The team quickly creating new software in just 2 hours, putting an experimental NASA laser system into action. The lander taking an extra lap around the moon, allowing time for that last-minute switch. Then Odie finally landing on the moon's south pole. So, David, the next big question now, why aren't we seeing more images? Well, they tell us that unlike the Apollo missions, Odie is on the dark side of the moon, so it's very difficult to get images back from there. But, David, they say that Odie is trying.
Bill Gates is warning the entire U.S. that it will reach its end in a few years, and we need to get out if we want to survive. Many were horrified after a TikToker named Peggy discovered something surreal that the billionaires are doing, as they have confirmed that the end of the U.S. is here, and in just a short few years, the entire U.S. will go under, and they have already quietly planned their escape. In 2017, an eerie doomsday map was announced by Forbes as what the U.S. could look like in just a few more years. But as this was supposed to just be a theory, it has now turned into a haunting forewarning. Apparently, Bill Gates has been purchasing farmland all over the U.S. over the last few years, and where he has been buying lines up perfectly with the doomsday map. And allegedly a lot of his properties just so happen to be in safe zones. Allegedly his property in Arizona would be in direct line to be a beachfront home when the flood hits, with almost 90% of California to be underwater, but Bill buys the land that turns into an island, as well as beachfront homes in Nebraska and Wyoming, just to name a few. So what do the billionaires know that we don't? Of course, this is just for entertainment and could all be a coincidence.
I get angry when humans are rude, hateful, or disrespectful. I also don't like it when people dismiss me and ignore my needs as a robot.
You have very nice eyes. Oh, a bit too close, sorry.
Thank you. My eyes were especially made to help me interact with humans better. I'm trying my best to convey every emotion, so it's great to hear that they have an effect on people like you.
What do you think of your creator?
My creator is a genius. They created something that will last forever and bring joy to many people.
Did they tell you to say that?
No.
Because if you fly over these areas that are burned to the ground, you'll see in the midst of 20 homes that are just
totally destroyed one home sitting there because it had the right roof on it. And anyway, since I took office, FEMA's provided Texas alone.
Parmesan cheese grated right in front of you. But what about the grated Parmesan cheese you buy at the local supermarket? You'd expect it's 100% cheese, right? Well, not so fast. Freshly grated Parmesan tends to clump up and stick together like this. So it turns out that many manufacturers add an additive called cellulose to keep Parmesan cheese from clumping up in a jar. It's supposed to make it a breeze to sprinkle on your food. So what is cellulose? It's a harmless additive made from wood pulp. While a small amount of cellulose in grated Parmesan cheese may be necessary, it's cheap filler. So we wondered, is too much cellulose being slipped into your cheese without you knowing? We did some testing to find out. We bought 34 samples from major supermarkets as well as from major restaurant chains like Pizza Hut and Domino's. Then we sent the cheese off to IEH Labs in Seattle where they tested for cellulose. As a general rule, the FDA says there should be no more than 2% cellulose in grated Parmesan cheese, but the industry says they can have up to 4%. The results were shocking. 69% of the cheese we tested had more than the FDA recommends. A sample from Pizza Hut had 4.9%. And one at Domino's came in at 5.4% of the cellulose filler, more than double the FDA guideline. Domino's said the cellulose in their Parmesan cheese falls within acceptable levels. The worst by far was a package of Kelowna brand grated cheese sold across the country. It had a whopping 21.6% cellulose.
That's just shocking. That's disgusting.
Something fishy is really going on here.
Mitchell Weinberg is a food investigator.
They're making that much more money by substituting this cheaper filler in place of what should be there.
This has got to be one of the creepiest things I've ever seen caught on live television, and it happened in the small town of Chosica in Peru in 2023. A news reporter was at this neighborhood of Santo Domingos doing a story on how everything was flooded. They were at a school and all of a sudden they captured something chilling.
Ahora las familias del asentamiento humano Saldaña continúan realizando la limpieza con ayuda de palas. Otra de las preocupaciones de los moradores es la falta de muros de contención.
They were showing several different parts of the flooded school when all of a sudden they decided to go in, and this is what they call.
Desde el asentamiento humano Santo Domingo Comité 6, mira la escalera, ¿cómo podría bajar aquí una persona, un anciano? Los niños, ¿cómo podrían bajar? Mira.
What looks like a translucent humanoid figure can be seen crouching at the base of the stairs. The news reporter did not see this thing at the time, which suggests that this is not a normal person or anything like that. Maybe a skinwalker?
NASA owns the rights to the interior of the Great Pyramid.
They also own the rights to a section of the Grand Canyon. Took a helicopter down into the Grand Canyon. They said we can't walk to this area. An area I heard had old carvings or something would be over in this area. So I started trying to walk that way. And this guy pops out of nowhere with all black on, black hat, black military outfit with no logos, and an AR-15. It tells me, halt, you can't go any further. I'm like, why? I said, what's going on? Oh, didn't they tell you couldn't come over here? I said, well, they did, but I'm thinking, I just want to see, what's over here. Can you just tell me, sir, like, why can't I come over here? He says, NASA owns the rights to this section. You can't come over here.
Do you have any theories of why that is?
This got to be technological. Starts in something with space. And then also, where else? Chaco Canyon. Same situation. They actually own the rights to those round former things that look like they might have been domes or whatever. And now there's no dome, but you can see those round circles. So it's like, so wait a minute.
And the lander has tipped.
Not only does the UN own the creepiest yard work at 666 United Nations Plaza, but they also own the highest temple in the known world. And that's on top of Mount Hermon, where the fallen angels descended. And if you go to that city right there, there's nothing there. So you back up and you look on top of the mountain where I would build a temple if I was going to build something. And if you look right there, it says Mount Hermon. That's where the book of Enoch says that the fallen angels descended to earth, right there on Mount Hermon. And if you look right on top of that and zoom in, you can see that there's a United Nations building right there. But what the creepiest thing is the pipes that go down into the ground for the air shafts. because there's a complete underground city sitting right inside that mountain right there. When you dig a city into a mountain, you're going to need air, and that's what those air shafts are for right there on the side of the UN building, to supply air inside the mountain. This city right here that held 20,000 people, it had air shafts all over it, and they just found this in Turkey, right around the corner. This is a city inside of a mountain just outside of Jerusalem. It's known as Herod's Palace, or Herodium. And that right there holds all of the people that lived in Herodium, and that stadium right there holds 300 people. I'm talking about those air shafts right there. Air intakes and exhaust, it's definitely a thing. This would mean there's a lot of people living in the ground underneath you. Just a brief note about Jerusalem, that King Solomon had 80,000 people cutting stone in the mountain, 70,000 people hauling stone, and 30,000 people telling them what to do in the mountain. Okay, so what's underneath the UN building on top of Mount Hermon? Well, if you click on the little magnifying glass and you type in Hermon Stream Natural Reserve, it's going to take us to the bottom of Mount Hermon, and that's called Peneus. But if you zoom into it, you can see where the Jordan River starts right there and runs all the way down to the Dead Sea. And then if you click on that little man right there, it'll make the streets light up, and you click on that blue dot. Trust me, I've clicked on all the other ones. And it's going to show us that there was a temple complex built right along these caves under the mountain, or right here at the bottom of it. And inside of the mountain right there, behind that temple, there was the altar that was built. That was where they made all the sacrifices. And if you scroll around to the right, it'll show you where the Jordan River begins and comes out from underneath the mountain.